Hollow Lane, nestled within the heart of a quiet suburban neighborhood, bore witness to the uncanny and the supernatural. The Smiths, a seemingly ordinary family, moved into the neighborhood with dreams of suburban tranquility. Little did they know that Hollow Lane harbored a secret, a spectral presence that transcended the facade of picket fences and manicured lawns. The whispers began as an indistinct murmur, soft and elusive. Mrs. Smith, an astute and pragmatic woman, dismissed them as figments of imagination. However, as the days turned into nights, the whispers in the Smiths' home grew more insistent, weaving through the air like ethereal threads. One evening, as the Smiths gathered in their cozy living room, the whispers coalesced into discernible voices. Mr. Smith, a skeptic by nature, exchanged uneasy glances with his wife. The children, normally boisterous, fell into an uncharacteristic silence. The whispers spoke of the house's history, a tale of a previous family, the Andersons, who had mysteriously vanished without a trace. As the narrative unfolded, the Smiths felt an inexplicable chill settle within the room. The spectral voices seemed to convey a lingering sorrow, an imprint of a tragedy that had befallen the house. Determined to dispel the eerie atmosphere, Mr. Smith delved into the history of Hollow Lane. To his surprise, the Andersons' disappearance was shrouded in ambiguity. The police investigation yielded no leads, and the neighbors, though reticent, hinted at an otherworldly element. As the Smiths sought solace in the routines of suburban life, the whispers intensified. The children, now reluctant to play in the backyard, spoke of shadows that moved with a will of their own. The once warm and inviting home became a realm of unspoken tension. Late one night, as the whispers reached a fevered pitch, the Smiths experienced a phenomenon that defied explanation. The furniture in the living room rearranged itself as if guided by unseen hands. Pictures on the walls tilted at odd angles, and the air hummed with an ethereal energy. Terrified yet inexplicably drawn to the unfolding spectacle, the Smiths gathered in the dimly lit living room. A spectral figure materialized, an apparition that seemed to embody the anguish of the departed Anderson family. The whispers, now a mournful chorus, narrated a tale of a tragedy that transcended the boundaries of the mortal realm. The figure, a silhouette draped in ethereal shrouds, gestured towards the backyard. Guided by an otherworldly compulsion, the Smiths ventured into the moonlit night. The whispers, now a guiding melody, led them to a forgotten shed at the edge of their property. The shed, concealed by overgrown bushes, bore the scars of neglect. As the Smiths approached, the spectral figure pointed to the door. With trepidation, Mr. Smith turned the handle, revealing a forgotten space frozen in time. Inside, the whispers intensified. Flickering candles cast distorted shadows on the walls, and old photographs lay scattered on a dusty table. The images depicted the Andersons, frozen in moments of joy and unity. The whispers, now coherent voices, told of a tragedy that had unfolded within the confines of the shed. The Andersons, it seemed, had dabbled in the occult, seeking answers to questions that transcended the mortal realm. The whispers spoke of a ritual gone awry, a gateway to the spectral unknown that had claimed the family. The shed, now a forgotten relic, held the remnants of a paranormal experiment. As the Smiths absorbed the haunting revelation, the shed seemed to come alive with spectral energy. Shadows danced along the walls, and the air vibrated with an unseen force. The whispers, now a chorus of the departed, conveyed a plea for release from the spectral purgatory that bound the Andersons. Determined to break the cycle of supernatural unrest, the Smiths, guided by the spectral figure, undertook a ritual to bring closure to the lingering spirits. Candles flickered as the air crackled with an otherworldly resonance. The whispers, now a harmonious melody, seemed to dissipate into the night. With the completion of the ritual, the shed returned to a state of stillness. The spectral figure, its countenance now serene, nodded in gratitude before fading into the moonlit night. The Smiths, though marked by the spectral encounter, felt a profound sense of closure. In the following days, Hollow Lane regained a semblance of suburban normalcy. The whispers, once haunting, now ceased to linger in the Smiths' home. The backyard, once a realm of spectral shadows, embraced the warmth of daylight. As the Smiths settled into the ebb and flow of suburban life, Hollow Lane retained the echoes of its spectral history. The whispers, though subdued, became a reminder that the boundaries between the living and the departed were often blurred in the quietude of suburban streets. The legacy of the Andersons and the spectral encounter that unfolded in the Smiths' home lingered in the shadows of Hollow Lane, a testament to the enduring mysteries that dwell beneath the facade of suburban serenity. Cedarwood, a picturesque neighborhood cloaked in a veil of serenity, concealed a spectral secret that lurked beneath the veneer of colonial homes and well-manicured lawns. The Johnsons, a newlywed couple, moved into a charming colonial on Elm Street, oblivious to the ethereal presence that awaited them. The whispers began as a soft rustling, barely audible amidst the rustling leaves and distant hum of suburban life. Mr. Johnson, a pragmatic accountant, brushed off the occasional murmur as the product of an overactive imagination. Yet as dusk settled over Cedarwood, the whispers intensified, coalescing into faint voices that seemed to resonate within the walls of the colonial home. Mrs. Johnson, a lover of history, decided to delve into the archives to uncover the secrets of Elm Street. To her surprise, the records revealed a tragedy that had unfolded within the walls of their new home. The Whitmans, a family who had occupied the colonial decades ago, had mysteriously vanished without a trace. As the Johnsons settled into their new life, the whispers became a nightly occurrence. Shadows danced along the walls, and the air hummed with an unseen energy. One evening, as the couple sat in their cozy living room, the whispers transcended into coherent voices. The spectral chorus spoke of the Whitmans' unresolved fate, a tale of sorrow that lingered within the colonial home. Driven by a blend of skepticism and curiosity, Mr. Johnson decided to reach out to the neighbors. The elderly couple next door, the Parkers, shared tales passed down through generations. According to the Parkers, the Whitmans' disappearance had been the talk of Cedarwood for years. Local lore hinted at an otherworldly dimension to the mystery, an inexplicable element that had shrouded the Whitmans in the spectral unknown. Undeterred by the eerie revelations, the Johnsons, determined to unravel the mystery, conducted a séance in their living room. Candles flickered as they attempted to communicate with the lingering spirits. To their astonishment, the whispers gained coherence, and a spectral figure materialized before them. The figure, clad in clothing reminiscent of a bygone era, introduced itself as Samuel Whitman, the patriarch of the vanished family. His spectral form bore the weight of unresolved anguish, a yearning to reunite with his family and find closure to the spectral mystery that bound them. Samuel, guided by an otherworldly compulsion, led the Johnsons on a spectral journey through the colonial home. The whispers, now a guiding melody, narrated the tragic events that had transpired within the walls of Cedarwood. The Johnsons, unwitting participants in a ghostly reunion, felt the boundary between the living and the departed blur. In the heart of the colonial, a hidden doorway revealed itself. The Johnsons, accompanied by the spectral presence of Samuel, ventured into a forgotten space, a room frozen in time. The air resonated with an ancient energy, and old photographs lay scattered on a dusty table. The spectral figure gestured towards the photographs, each capturing moments of the Whitmans' life before their mysterious disappearance. The whispers, now a chorus of spectral voices, spoke of a ritual gone awry, a desperate attempt by the Whitmans to transcend the mortal realm and reunite with lost loved ones. As the séance continued, the spectral energy in the room intensified. Shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own, and the air hummed with an ethereal resonance. The Johnsons, now deeply entwined in the spectral drama, felt the weight of Cedarwood's haunted legacy. With a surge of spectral energy, the room became a nexus between the living and the departed. The whispers, now a harmonious melody, conveyed the Whitmans' gratitude for the Johnsons' role in unraveling the spectral mystery. Samuel, with a final glance, dissipated into the spectral unknown, leaving the room cloaked in an otherworldly stillness. In the following days, Cedarwood returned to its facade of suburban tranquility. The whispers, once haunting, ceased to linger within the colonial home. The Johnsons, forever marked by their spectral encounter, became custodians of Cedarwood's spectral legacy. As Elm Street embraced the warmth of daylight, the whispers faded into echoes of the past. The neighborhood, seemingly ordinary yet touched by the supernatural, retained the secrets of its spectral history. The Johnsons, now part of Cedarwood's enigmatic narrative, continued to live amidst the shadows and echoes of a ghostly reunion that transcended the boundaries of time and mortality. Hawthorne Lane, a quiet stretch of suburbia where the houses stood like sentinels against the encroaching dusk, held a secret that defied the mundane routines of suburban life. The Martins, a family of 3, moved into a quaint cottage with the hopes of a fresh start. Little did they know that the quiet facade of Hawthorne Lane concealed a spectral enigma that would unravel with a touch of the supernatural. The whispers, gentle as a summer breeze, found their way into the Martins' home as the twilight descended. Mr. Martin, an engineer with a rational mind, attributed the faint murmurs to the settling of an old house. Mrs. Martin, however, felt an undercurrent of something unspoken, a mysterious energy that lingered like an elusive shadow. As the nights unfolded, the whispers graduated into indistinct voices that seemed to echo within the walls. The Martins' daughter, Lily, spoke of an imaginary friend, a silhouette that danced in the moonlit corners of her room. Mrs. Martin, a skeptic turned intrigued, decided to explore the history of their cottage. To her surprise, the archives revealed a peculiar tale, a family, the Harrisons, who had occupied the cottage decades ago. The patriarch, Jonathan Harrison, had been a magician known for his uncanny ability to make things disappear. The whispers, now a spectral murmur, hinted at a connection between the Harrisons' mysterious vanishing act and the current haunting. Determined to uncover the truth, Mrs. Martin reached out to the town's older residents. Among them, an elderly woman named Agnes had vivid memories of the Harrisons' performances. According to Agnes, the final act of Jonathan Harrison involved a daring disappearance, an illusion so convincing that the family seemed to vanish from the face of Hawthorne Lane. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, the Martins decided to conduct a seance in their living room. Candles flickered as they attempted to bridge the gap between the living and the spectral. To their astonishment, the whispers gained coherence, and a spectral figure materialized before them. The figure, resembling Jonathan Harrison, spoke of an ancient spell woven into his final performance, an unintended crossing between the realms of magic and the supernatural. The cottage, it seemed, had become a nexus where the living and the departed intersected. Guided by an otherworldly compulsion, the Martins followed the spectral figure through a hidden doorway that revealed a concealed room, a space untouched by the passage of time. In the center, an old magician's box stood as a relic of Jonathan's final act. As the seance continued, the room flickered with spectral energy. Shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own, and the air hummed with an ethereal resonance. The Martins, now deeply entwined in the spectral drama, felt the weight of Hawthorne Lane's enchanted legacy. In a surprising twist, the spectral figure gestured towards the magician's box. The whispers, now a chorus of spectral voices, conveyed a plea for the Martins' assistance in completing the vanishing act. It seemed that the spell, once initiated, required a final act to set both the living and the departed free. With a surge of spectral energy, the room transformed into a stage set for a supernatural performance. The Martins, guided by the whispers and the spectral figure, played their roles in the vanishing act. Shadows danced, the air crackled, and the magician's box seemed to absorb the very essence of the cottage. In a blink, the room fell into stillness. The whispers, now a fading echo, conveyed a sense of release. The Martins, disoriented yet strangely liberated, found themselves standing in their living room. The cottage, once enigmatic, embraced the warmth of daylight. As the Martins settled into the rhythm of Hawthorne Lane, the whispers, once haunting, ceased to linger within the cottage. Lily's imaginary friend, the silhouette that danced in the moonlit corners, had vanished like a wisp of smoke. The Martins, forever marked by their spectral encounter, became the keepers of Hawthorne Lane's magical secret. In the days that followed, the Martins noticed an old magician's box in their living room, a relic from the spectral vanishing act. The box, devoid of any supernatural residue, stood as a reminder of the mysterious legacy that had unfolded within the walls of their cottage. As Hawthorne Lane embraced the simplicity of suburban life, the whispers faded into echoes of the past. The suburban enclave, seemingly ordinary yet touched by the supernatural, retained the secrets of its spectral history. The Martins, now part of Hawthorne Lane's enchanting narrative, continued to live amidst the flickering shadows and echoes of a vanishing act that transcended the boundaries of magic and mortality.